everyone. Welcome back to the always exciting Captain Logan Show. I am indeed Captain Logan. Joining me tonight, as always, is my chat moderator and wonderful producer, DJ Martinez.
Hello. Against all odds, I've made it.
Absolutely, yeah. We're starting a few minutes early tonight, so I apologize for anybody that comes in on time and ends up being late to the show. Hopefully, you're all right with going back and checking out the beginning of the show later on. We'll make this real brief. I don't want to. I don't want to explain everything and give away DJ's whole personal life. But DJ had a personal thing that came up today, and I expected him to not be on the show because of it. And he ended up working it in and said that as long as we did it a little bit early, he could be here. And so, long story short, we're here. We're doing the show we had planned on doing. I want to apologize for how much we've had to move everything around this week. Originally, the show was going to be on the normal night, which is tomorrow. Eric was not able to see Spider-Man tonight, which is why we weren't going to do that review until the weekend. But both of us were kind of hoping that we could somehow see it earlier and not get anything spoiled for us and be able to get a review out in a timely fashion, as Eric put it. And so long story short, he was like, well, I can go Wednesday if you can move the live show. And I was like, done, let's do that. So that's why the live show moved to here. DJ couldn't do it very readily on Friday, so we're here. We're excited to chat with as many people as are able to make it. Again, apologies for folks that I know are currently at Far From Home. DJ has already seen the movie. He's not going to tell me anything about it, or he's fired. And you guys, please also don't tell me anything about it, or you're also fired.
Yeah, let's keep it spoiler free in the comments, guys.
Yeah, spoiler free. I am seeing it tomorrow, and we should have a review for you on Thursday. I haven't decided if that's going to be a bona fide spoiler cast or if it's going to be how we felt about yet. If Eric and I have a lot of stuff we really want to talk about with spoilers, and I imagine we probably will, we may do a kind of, quick thrown together spoiler cast. Obviously, right after you see a movie, you don't have a lot of time to process things, which is why I usually resist doing that. Already quite a few people in the comments, though. Really cool of you guys to come out on a random Tuesday night, 10 minutes too early, and on a night that a major superhero film is opening. Really hate going up against a major movie that is important for the channel and what we do. One of the biggest movies of the year, and here I am competing with it in my silly little live show.
It's a real underdog story.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Tank Gunner. Hi there, David Crabtree. Kellen O'Rourke is in the comments. There's Carl Maxey, John Sidney. There's Magpie, AMC Comics, Anime 2019. Good to see everybody. Thanks a lot for being here. Tonight is going to be a show about collecting. This is a topic that DJ came up with, and it's going to be probably somewhat GNN-ish, old school Geeks Not Nerds type topic. We're going to talk ins and outs, everything we can think of about what it's like to collect stuff. DJ is providing the old background music, the old score for it. Vince and I had this thing where whenever we both did it, whenever we would try to hum that theme, it always turned into Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, that's a good.
And we would
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, like the first time we did it, we both did it together simultaneously. We were like, and it just kept going. And after a while, we were like, "That's not the theme to Geeks Not Nerds."
That's great. I always like the Funky Kong theme, where it was like, "Ha yeah."
That's Eddie's favorite. That's the map music for the second map. If it's also Funky Kong.
It's when you go to his shop, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also just the oh no, that's what's playing when you're in that airplane, isn't it?
Yeah. When you go into his.
That's what it is. It keeps that. Yeah, it's like
It's great.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So tonight we're going to take your questions as we always do throughout the show. We're going to have a collecting conversation in between, and if you guys want to ask us questions or bring up things about what we're talking about as we're talking throughout the night, feel free to do that. We want to make this mostly about that theme, but if there are other things you want to talk about that aren't about Spider-Man Far From Home, feel free to leave those questions as well, and we can get off topic a little bit here and there, especially, of course, if anybody wants to throw in a super chat. If you want to make sure that your question or comment is read and discussed on camera, you can leave a super chat, and we sure appreciate everybody's support, helping us keep this thing moseying right along. We had a goal last week, a $75 goal, that we surprisingly met thanks mostly to one guy. We did get several super chats that day, but there was one guy in particular. Do you remember his name right off that helped us get over the hump? I've got it written down, but it's not right in front of me. And that was for a top 10 list or some kind of ranked list. And I ended up choosing one of his topics, and he asked me to do a top 10 favorite movies. I have turned it into a top 20 because 10 is really hard. Really hard, and I am going to record that tomorrow or the next day and get that posted for you this week as well. So thanks to everybody who helped us out with that goal, and especially that guy. Are you looking for it?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking for his name.
Yeah, I've got it here someplace, but yeah, I was not prepared. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and jump right into stuff, shall we? Should we do it? Should we do it, DJ? Should we get right into it?
Yeah. I got a softball for you.
Okay, cool. Do it up, man.
Peripherally related to collecting, to your collection, anyway.
I'm sorry. Real quick, let me interrupt you. We've been having levels issues with this show, with audio. It's been awful the last couple weeks. Please, I've been messing with the sliders. Please let me know in the comments live while we're talking if DJ is still overpowering me, and I will just drop his slider down to nothing. If that is the case, because it looks good on my end, but it was a problem last week. So let me know. Let me know, or if I have messed it up and now I am overpowering DJ. It still says DJ's really loud.
That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life, because I'm usually a quiet guy that everyone tells me to speak up.
I mean, like, DJ, look at the sliders the way I have them right now. Like, you are like at a quarter of what I'm at, and
yeah, mine is way down.
Yeah, it's way down. I don't get it. Okay, I mean, I could just talk right into the microphone.
I'll just maybe it's because my mic is so close to me. I'll just hold it like this the whole show.
Yeah, is there a way? I guess there's not a way on your end to drop that down a little bit. I don't know, but folks are asking why DJ is not dressed up tonight.
It's been a crazy day, guys. Long story. Sorry.
He has no air conditioning where he is right now.
Going casual.
The reviewer says I'm not loud enough. It's not, but it's not that, because like my slider is up and my it's just that DJ is really loud. If I go up much louder, I'm gonna clip at the tops. Like, we are having a very difficult time with this. Okay, so no, Matali, DJ was not fired from his regular job.
I was demoted. Actually, I wear shorts and gym shorts and a t-shirt to my regular job, so I'm a lot more casual there.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna finally get to the actual show at large. DJ, what is your softball question?
Okay, kind of related to the topic. Do you have a P.O. box yet?
No. I still need to get that done. It's been difficult to prioritize it. Money-wise, just over other things that I've been doing, and yeah, I need to get that knocked out. When I do, I need everybody to know that if you send me something, it does not guarantee a review necessarily. I unfortunately, just because whenever I've had a PO box in the past, I've had so much stuff and I have so many requests that I need to get to right now. So, like, if it's something that I'm really jazzed to try to talk about, I will do it without donation, but just because it comes to me, I can't promise that. I hate that. I wish I could. I can't always do that, but if you send me something, I will definitely show it off on camera, and I just can't necessarily guarantee a review, and I will bring back Mailbag Day when that happens, or Mailbag Day will become just a segment on this show. That may not be a bad thing to do here on the live show.
That'd be fun.
That could be fun. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can't send anything to me for DJ because he doesn't live here. If he did, he could be wearing a suit because there's air conditioning.
We'll get it taken care of, guys. All right. Collecting from Kellen O'Rourke. Do you think collecting and preserving items takes away from the joy of having the item?
Interesting. I see what you're saying. It certainly can, and it's the reason that at one point I opened all of my action figures, which I felt really funky weird about, and then suddenly appreciated them more. That sounds like exactly what he's talking about. It all depends on what your purpose is for collecting. So for a lot of people, collecting is an investment. They buy things that they like having around, but that they imagine that down the road they might be willing to part with if they're worth a fortune. And they can, so like, it's nice to have around for a long time and to enjoy on a shelf or on the wall, or even to lightly use in the case of something like video games or whatever. But if they become worth a lot, then you can sell them. You got your enjoyment out of it. Maybe you won't cry yourself to sleep at night when you sell them, and then you can put your kids through college, or buy a house, or that was the prevailing idea through the 90s, which is the thing that crashed the comic industry. But that's what a lot of people do. For me, it's always been, for the most part, stuff that I want to hang on to forever, that I just want to have around. What's up?
I'm so sorry. You can keep talking. I'm going to take this phone call from my wife. I'll be right back.
Yeah. No, I understand. DJ's having a day. But what I've always liked to do is to collect things that I kind of want to have around and probably keep forever. And a lot of the time, it's been more about having, like, kind of representing things. So I don't necessarily have to have, like, the most immaculate, perfect edition or version of a thing, as long as it's intact and it's fairly decent. And then if I get lucky down the road to find another, of that thing at a decent price, I might trade up. But with the case of something like action figures, you can kind of enjoy it on a wall, but it's inside, it's encased, right? It's entombed in a way, and you can't appreciate like everything about it. You don't even know what the back of it necessarily looks like until you get it open. And I didn't really understand that for the longest time. It didn't occur to me that the way figures are sculpted once you get it out of package, sometimes you find yourself appreciating it a lot more. DJ's back. Hey, buddy.
Hey, so sorry, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and be open because it may happen again. My wife is in the ER right now, and she is going to she's probably going to call me back in a little while, but I'm going to hang out while I can.
I can't even believe you're doing the show now, DJ. Thanks for doing it, man. But yeah, okay. So guys, DJ is going to be a little bit touch and go. He's on call, having to deal with his wife, and hopefully she's okay. So yeah, but yeah, so I don't know. Long story short, yes, that can affect your enjoyment of it, but it also kind of depends on what the enjoyment of it is that you're getting in the first place. In a perfect world, you buy two of everything, right? With comics, you buy one to read and you buy one to keep in the plastic. We live in an age now where if you don't mind reading digital, if you got a cool way to do that, you can kind of get away with buying comics and just preserving them and never have to open them, but still be able to enjoy what's inside if you have a streaming account that gives you access to those books. And we're getting more and more access for less and less money these days, and I'm beginning to do a lot more of that. I'm starting to buy books that I may never take out of plastic, just to have them, either to display or just to say I've got one. And it's really cool to have that. Obviously, we'll never have an equivalent of that with figures or statues or posters or whatever it is. And so I guess the nice thing about a poster is you don't have to worry about taking it out of plastic or anything. It is what it is. It looks the same regardless, except a frame makes it nicer. But anyway, so yeah, I think it can, but I think it totally depends on what it is we're talking about. And physical media, less and less, because so much stuff is becoming more accessible through digital.
Yeah, I would say it depends on the person, because my wife would definitely say this about me, because I never, I read books like this, barely opening them so I don't crease them, and I'm super, I don't take my books anywhere, and she just reads the crap out of her books. She folds them over and she reads them in the bath and she tears them up. She thinks, to her, I'm not enjoying it fully, but to me, the enjoyment is collecting it and seeing it on the shelf. So I think we're very different I'm a collector and she's more of a experiencer. But I still think we get the same amount of joy out. The way he posed it, it seems like he's a person who gets joy out of using the thing instead of collecting. So
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you say that you're more a collector, I think there are again different purposes to collecting, right? I think that people who use the thing that they collect are not necessarily any more or less a collector. I think there are completionist collectors that still like use the thing for what it was meant for in the
Hmm.
first place. But traditionally, when we think of collecting, we think of amassing and keeping things immaculate. I'm different with different collections that I have. The superhero movies, I collect more as a library. Um, so it's not. So it is about having them, but it's also about having access to them. My tick stuff, on the other hand, I want everything to be as perfect as humanly possible, and I have to own every single tick thing that ever came out. And as far as figures and things goes, I need everything in the box. So for me, it's just different with different things. But the pop figures, I take all out of the box, partly because the boxes take up too much space, and because I like what they look like on a shelf.
Yeah, and they basically look the same in and outside a box. Anyway, so
See,
why
that's
not?
not true though. That's the thing. Is even pop figures I have appreciated more when I've gotten them out of the box. I'm like, oh, that's so much cooler than I thought it was just looking at it in the box.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of pop figures, I got a couple more of the pop dioramas that I was showing off last time. These finally came out this month. I thought these weren't until July, but they're out already. Here is the Batman versus the Joker from the end of '89. That one that I was telling you guys about last time. Got a little bit of a glare there, so I'm trying to make it so you guys can see it. When I first saw a picture of this DJ, I thought that it was the Dark Knight Returns Batman versus the Joker with them in the boat. But then I noticed the
Oh,
glasses, and I was like, oh no, it's '89, and they're on top of the church. But doesn't it look like it's kind of shaped like a boat?
it kind of does. It points off at the front.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the stern or the bow. I'm not of my boat slang, but
And then the other one is the Batman and Robin 1964 look just before the TV show. I actually thought that this was supposed to be Adam West and Burt Ward when I first saw the picture for this before it came out, but it is not. That is the look that show is based on. So yeah, Michael says the Batman pops will never stop. I don't envy you trying to get them all. Yeah, they won't. I have been enjoying that so far.
once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, it is a crazy thing to collect, and it is money milky, and it's a bunch of repaints, and it's the only thing I collect like that. And that kind of thing used to drive me crazy. I don't know what it says about me that I do that, but I don't know. I like them a lot though. It's more fun when you have a bunch of them. Like once they're all together, you're like, wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has become the conversation piece for the Batcave. When people come down here, they see that, and that's the only thing they want to talk about.
I'm not. I guess that's a little. I'm not. You're a completionist in some of your
Only
collecting,
with
aren't you?
certain things,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm not. I'm not kind of that anyway. I'm like all about aesthetics, so it's like, I don't know. I think I used to be a completionist. I used to get all the Marvel movies, obviously, and then Ant-Man broke me of that. But yeah, I guess there's probably some things I'm not thinking of that I'm a completionist on, but most of the time it's just like collecting what I like, kind of like you do.
That's how it
Character
was
feel
when I was a
stuff.
kid. I never was a completionist with anything really as a kid. It was kind of, yeah, I kind of just collected what I liked, and then later it became buying back things from my childhood that somehow I had lost, which is funny because I kept most everything. But there were some things. That's one of the big reasons people collect is to re-experience the past or to buy back their childhood.
Hmm.
So a lot of things like that, it was either things I lost somehow, had to get rid of, or things that I wasn't allowed to have when I was a kid, or that was too expensive. And it's like now I really like. I've always wanted an original Technodrome because it was too expensive and I couldn't get one when I was a kid.
Yeah, everyone has that holy grail. Holy grail. Mutale says DJ collects suits. That is not true because I only have one suit that I wear every week. But this weekend I just went to Goodwill and bought 3 more jackets. So
Oh, sweet, yeah.
I'll be sporting those for the channel, just for the channel. They were really cheap. So
Cool. Wow, thanks for doing that. Yeah, I bought a couple of new jackets just for this as well. A couple
look
weeks
at
ago.
that. See what the things we do for you guys. Okay, I got
Every week, except for this one when it's 82 degrees inside your room.
That's probably, if you can see my hair blowing, it's because I got the fan on above me too this week.
Maxie says he thinks I'm about to give you guys a riddle.
Can you? Are you good at riddles? Do you have those?
I'm not great at riddles. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. I wish I was, but I'm not.
We'll do a riddle theme one of these weeks. We'll only speak in riddles. I have a super chat from David Crabtree.
Sounds like work.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. I have a super chat from David Crabtree, $5 super chat. Has there been something you set out to start collecting but quickly went nowhere because either you lost interest or there wasn't enough to collect?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I think I have had that before. I'm trying to think if anything just leaps to mind. There have been things that I've started collecting that I kind of like got all of really fast, and then if they ever made any more, I didn't really care about as much later. Or the opposite has happened. Like I want to collect Lord Zed, and I started doing that at one point, and I had most everything because there's not much, or there wasn't much at the time, and then there was a ton. But I'm trying to think. Can you think of anything like that? Have you ever had that? It's like, this would be so much fun to collect, and then there just wasn't enough of it.
I don't think so.
Or you just were like, I'm not into this anymore. I guess I have maybe, okay, I had that, and I will tell you what it was. This is very silly. When I was a kid, I did more kind of weird broad collecting. And this is what I want to do with Velociraptors. I really want to collect just Velociraptor stuff, not even from Jurassic Park necessarily, like that too, but just Velociraptors. And I did that when I was in high school with fish. Just fish things?
What?
I don't know how this happened.
Wait, like the band or just
no,
the creature?
The creature. More like tropical fish, really, than anything. And it became like this weird thing with my friends and I, where it was just a word that we said all the time. And I guess we would like replace it for the F word, so we'd say like "what the fish," and we just like said fish a lot. And by the way, there's a card game that recently came out called "What the Fish," and I want my royalties. That was my thing. Anyway, so fish became a thing, and just really goofy, weird thing. Like I have this. This is the one thing from that collection I kept. I don't have it down here, but it's this like statue that I've always kept in a bathroom. That is a fish that has a fin above his head that goes up like this high, and it looks like a mohawk. And I've always called him the Mohican fish. And I hung on to that. I don't even know what it's made of. It looks like rock, but it's not, and like stone. And so when I was in high school, my extended family picked up on this weird fish theme, and for 2 or 3 Christmases, it's all I got was just random fish stuff. And they did not get the memo when I sold it all. So for a while, I was still just getting this like massive amount of weird. I used to have like a steak plate, like I cook a steak on, that was shaped like a fish. I had really weird stuff.
Wow, how have I never heard this story before?
I don't think I've ever told it.
That's amazing. No, I mean, I was pretty mainstream with my collecting. Kind of like, I don't know. I have like, I should have brought it in here for this show. I have like hundreds and hundreds of Pokemon cards still.
Oh, really?
And hundreds of superhero cards. Remember when those were a thing?
Yeah.
Just trading cards. There was no game involved. It was just like you had it, the picture, you flip it over. There's like stats on the back. I have so many of those. They're worth nothing, but
I still have some too. Yeah.
Memories.
Fleer and memories and Pogs.
Well, I used to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I used to have right next to my parents' business. My parents are martial arts instructors, and there was a card shop right next to their studio. And I used to go in and buy the box. You know, you get the box, and they open them up, and then you buy like packs out of it. I just bought the whole box. Like he had the whole box there, and I had like hundreds of packs of cards to go through, and it was awesome. I was super happy with it.
Michael, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I also had a Jar Jar Binks collection at one time.
Yes. I did know about.
It was pretty massive. It was 20 or 30 pieces at least. And I'm working on a video where I'll tell this story in more detail. But long story short, I sold it I traded it at one point at a comic shop for something else, and I traded all my Star Wars stuff because at Christmas I would get fish stuff, but I would also get Star Wars stuff because some people didn't understand the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. They thought I collected Star Wars, and I like Star Wars, and some of that stuff was fun, but I just wasn't a big enough fan of it, so it was easy to sell it to get something else, and it was very difficult to get that guy to go along with taking the Jar Jar stuff.
Got another super chat from T Edge 1. What is the rarest or hardest thing to find in any collection that you own? How many books do you own? You rock. I'm on my way home from work.
Oh, well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
So let me work backwards, as I like to do when the super chat is economical and there are 3 or more items in it. DJ, I have, I don't know, book-wise, I mean, 800 to 1,000 at least. Surely I have 1,000 books. Like, just books, not counting comics. Like,
yes.
Sure. We have a pretty massive library.
I was thinking if I could show this setup of books that I have here, but anyway, keep talking. Sorry.
But how many books do you think you have, DJ?
I have no idea. For the longest time, sorry, we're gonna move my light out of the way. I have this set up here under my TV. Sorry, this is really janky. But we built this little table, if you can see it, under the TV with 2 chairs for our kids when they're a little older.
That's cool.
And we have all the books running under here in color order, of course, because it's me. So they're running all down there. And Cap knows about this, I've been kind of amassing a collection of all the children's classics. So I have a lot more books recently since I've had my son than I used to do. I didn't buy that many books, and we would just kind of sell them. I bought them. My wife had a lot, but we would just read them and take them back. But yeah, I've really gotten into books. We like old books a lot. We decorate with them in rooms, so we have a lot of really old books. The only problem with that is they're really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
We collect books some. Again, there's nothing that we collect like completionists. We'll buy like turn of the century stuff or stuff from the 40s and 50s when it's something that we're interested in and it falls in a category that we like a lot, just to have cool old classic books. Collectible books. We've got so as far as my book collecting goes, it's science fiction, no surprise to anybody. My wife and I have, like DJ, a pretty good collection of major like American and British classics and a lot of kids books too. And then and we happen to have, I think, every Dr. Seuss book there is, including the ones after he died that were written by other people, just because my mom put my kids on a book program for that at one point and wrote it out all the way to the end. So I think we have everything. I didn't even collect that on purpose, but that was cool with my mom. Yeah. But then I collect English language books and books on writing and English and creative writing, and I bought some cool things from decades ago and turn of the century on that subject. My wife collects linguistics books and specifically stuff about German. And so that's a lot of our book collecting. And then comics wise, my personal collection is at about 9,000. And then what I have in the flea market booth right now that I'm selling is that much or more. But yeah. Can you read the rest of that one?
Yeah, let's go back. We got on a tangent there. What is the rarest and hardest thing to find in any collection that you own?
I knew somebody was going to ask that, and that was going to come up. I think the oldest comic that I have is from 1947. I have a Golden Age Batman that goes back that far that I got last summer that my dad found at a flea market, and I will pull up my archive and tell you what number it is because I don't remember. But comic-wise, I think that's the oldest and rarest thing I've got. That's got to be one of the rarest things I have in general. But I'll think for a minute and see what else comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have some old books. Probably, honestly, the most expensive thing is some of my Pokemon cards.
Really?
Yeah, I had a lot as a kid. I have like 6 Charizards, which were rare when I was a kid. I don't know if they're still rare. I mean, Pokemon Go was like a blip on the map, and it's kind of gone back under. I should have sold them when that was really popular. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we weren't really prepared for this topic.
Yeah, well, my mind always goes blank when somebody asks this because I know there's always going to be something a lot rarer that I didn't think of. Like I've got autographs from folks that are either have passed away, like Adam West, or that you don't see all the time. So like I guess those are technically you kind of not especially rare. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know what's
I got a
rare.
lot of one of a kind stuff that wouldn't be worth that much to anybody but me. Like sketch covers that I get done at cons and things like that.
Hmm.
That Batman issue is 41. I have Batman number 41.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I have some expensive Blu-ray collection sets that went way up. Like the Amazing Spider-Man Japanese exclusive, like big 5-disc set is it was like $50 when I got it, and it's a pretty rare one. There's a Korean import of Sing Street that my wife got me for my birthday. That's really low print. So I don't know. I have a few things.
In a collection that I just bought for the flea market booth, DJ, I found some cool stuff. Some of which I'm selling, and some of which I'm keeping. I actually put this in the booth already, so I don't have it here to show you. But I got a Uncanny X-Men number 500 signed by Alex Ross. That's in the booth right now. I am keeping this, and in fact, my Daredevil collection has doubled now. I think with this new batch of books that I bought. Couldn't believe this was in there. Most of what was in this collection, DJ, I bought this on eBay. Most of what was in this collection I already knew about. The guy took pictures, but he didn't have an itemized list. So there were some things that I did not notice in those pictures, and one of them is this. I got a Daredevil number 2.
Wow.
And it's not in bad shape. I'd say this is probably like a 6 or a 6.5. It's intact. The pages are a little yellowed. It's not the best, but it's not falling apart. It's in way better shape than my FF number 20, which used to be the oldest Marvel book that I owned. And I'm very excited about that. And then that Daredevil collection went back pretty far. I got a 50.
Wow.
In the average of these books, I went a little higher than I usually do when I buy a collection, but these books were surprisingly good. Mostly modern stuff. I was surprised this stuff was in here because most of what's in that is from the last like 10 or 15 years. But and like I got most of Bendis Daredevil that way. I got Kevin Smith's Daredevil this way. But anyway, and some other stuff. I got Old Man Logan in singles finally, so that's exciting. But yeah, I got 2, I got 50, I got 84 and 85. These look really good. 109, and 18. 18! I bought...
You think you would have advertised it?
I showed this, yeah. And I'm glad they didn't, because I only spent 80 cents on these.
Wow.
This is... I mean, I bought in bulk. I mean, it was a big collection. It was about 3,000 books, I think.
Whoa! How did he ship that?
This is. I'll tell that story in a second.
We'll do a shipping theme some other time.
I should tell that story. So, but I showed this off a couple weeks ago. Here's Daredevil number 31 that I bought at a guy's house, who I bought a bunch of detective from. I don't think did I show you guys these, the Batmans and Detectives that I bought from him. I got, I think, like about 20 of these.
Wow.
But I spent $20 on this one issue alone, which I thought was a great deal. And these, in buying this insane collection in bulk, I got for 80 cents a piece. So that's exciting. Hopefully I can sell enough out of that collection to make my investment back and better. But that's what I do. I buy big collections and I sell what I don't want and I keep the rest. Or I sell things that I would love to keep but have to sell some stuff so that I can get back in the green.
Seems like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. It's a thing I've been doing for a long time. I finally came back to it. I used to do it on eBay. I would sell on eBay. And I got sick of that. They nickel and dime me to death. But then I got back into flea markets with my dad, and that's why I'm back into this again, because I have an avenue to sell stuff.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that a little bit because we both like going to we both like going to antique shops and flea markets and browsing around. That's one of me and my wife's favorite things to do together. That's what I loved about Toy Story 4 so much was that it took place in a spoiler alert, it takes place in a antique shop.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have comics is like the one thing I'm kind of glad that I never got into single issues because the way that I'm a collector, I'd have like a ton of them and it'd be a lot of money. But I only have like what my dad had growing up. He was a collector, and he had I have a few. He has like a ton, like a huge run on X-Men. He has like all of Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was his favorite growing up, and he has like all of that. And I think I have the original Secret Wars 12 issues that he has. I don't think that's not very old, but I just remember that's one thing that I read of his. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on to.
Yeah, I mean those are worth 12 to 15 a piece.
Hmm?
If you want that whole collection, if you want all 12, it's going to cost you at least $100.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Let me see what I got here. I'm gonna go back to pre-writtens.
Yeah. Sorry, we're not getting a ton of question answering done, but you guys are hitting on things I wanted to talk about and giving me excuses to show off things on this table that I littered with things to show you guys today.
Yeah. So Carl Maxey, you kind of touched on this.
Yeah.
Kevin Logan, how much do you collect just to get them signed later?
That's not a thing I've done a ton of. Usually and I don't get as many autographs as I used to. They've gotten more expensive. It's the novelty of it has worn off on me to some degree. When I was younger, getting to meet celebrities of any kind was a big deal. I got very starstruck. I started in Star Trek conventions, and one of the first actors I met was Bob Picardo from Star Trek Voyager, the Doctor, and that was a huge deal. And I had like heart palpitations, I did that fanboy thing. And, oh my God, I'm meeting a person that I see on television on a regular basis, and I don't have that as much as I used to. But also, it's just gotten kind of expensive, and so there are really like select people that I like to get stuff signed by. It's kind of more fun to meet comic creators because they tend to spend more time chatting with you than industry guests do, and it's a thing that I'm constantly talking about on the channel, and it's kind of my bread and butter now. So whenever I talk to an industry creator for comics, I'm learning things that I can use when I'm talking about comics on the channel and doing review and stuff. So it's kind of more useful to me now, I guess, than just chatting with actors, which I also like to do. But as far as the collecting side of that goes, yeah, when you go meet somebody to get a signature, you have to have something to sign. I don't tend to buy things because I'm hoping that down the road I'll meet somebody that could sign it. But when I know somebody is coming to a con that I'm going to go to specifically for them and I don't have anything, I will spend some time figuring out what cool thing I'm going to get to have them sign. I don't usually just go for whatever random thing I have laying around that's not cool enough. But if I have something great, like Kevin Conroy signed a statue that I have that's the Joker with Batman's head is just like down at the bottom of it. And so I had him just sign the plank next to Batman's head. And if I ever get to meet Mark Hamill, I'll have him sign the Joker part of it. That was my hope, or the plank next to that. That was my hope, is like maybe someday I'll get lucky and I'll be at a con that Mark Hamill's at, and then I can have both of their signatures on that. But yeah, I don't tend to buy things just to have them signed until I find out somebody's coming somewhere. And these days, really the only stuff I get signed is sometimes comics by certain creators that I know are coming to play on a Comic-Con, and Power Rangers actors. And part of that's because most Power Rangers actors are hardly celebrities, and they just don't charge that much. It's an easier thing to collect. So I actually sort of collect Power Ranger autographs.
Interesting. Yeah, you have them all on that one poster, right?
Yeah, and that's also a thing that Jason and I do together. So that is Jason's. He will take that with him when he leaves the nest.
Awesome.
He's been getting that signed since he was 3, 4.
I thought you were about to get really dark and say when you leave the world or when you leave this earth,
no.
he'll take it with him.
Well, that is a thing that as a dad that collects with your kids, this is a thing that you can't help but think about.
Mm-hmm.
When they leave, what do they take with them? What do you keep? What do you allow them to take with them?
Yeah. I have a silly illustration of that. Me and my brother used to collect all the Scooby-Doo movies, and just in the TV shows, everything Scooby-Doo, we had a DVD collection. and we both put the same amount of money in. When I moved out, he has them all, and I'm kind of bummed. I just left them all there. So we have like everything, like all the shows, all the seasons, every movie. They make a movie every year since like '99 when Zombie Island came out. So there's like a million movies. So it's crazy. I think he still keeps it up, but I'm kind of sad. I'm thinking.
Sorry, what?
Oh yeah, no, he is here. I see Dan.
He's in the comments. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. He says when he met Kevin Conroy, he had him sign his TAS collection, and he was really nervous. Yeah, he's so laid back. He was real fun and easy to talk to.
But what I thought you were about to get into when you brought up the kids thing is when you're really big collectors, but your kids aren't. What do they do with your stuff? It like breaks my heart when I go to like a half price books or like a used bookstore, and I just see like this complete collection that someone obviously like spent their whole life collecting, and then their kids just like drop it off. And but I mean, if they're not into it,
I would leave instructions. I mean, I think the biggest mistake that people make is not telling their family what they want done with their stuff, you know? Because I mean, I think most children, and by children I just mean, you know, the like they might be grown up, but you know, the dad or the mom's kids. I would like to think that most children would want to follow their parents' wishes, and usually just don't know what they wanted. You know, like they'll have the stuff bequeathed to them, but they're not interested in it. And it's like, well, what do I do with this stuff? And I think a lot of parents are like, you don't necessarily have to keep it. I just want you to get, you know, something out of it that's like the best for you. That is not taking it to half price books. They're going to give you 5% of what it's worth. Maybe not that bad, but they don't pay out real well, of course. They're trying to resell. And so, but if you don't know anything about the thing, going on eBay or trying to sell online somewhere else is not always the smartest thing because you don't know how to list it. You don't know enough about it. It's hard to answer people's questions about it. You're also not going to get what it's worth, or you're going to ask for too much because you think it's worth a fortune. So you like, I would leave instructions, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to sell stuff sometimes, and people just don't have the space for it these days. So I mean, it's a sticky situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sympathetic to that to some degree, but at the same time, like, it will be when either of my parents go, like, it will be difficult, you know, for me to sell anything that they leave me. Like, it would be hard to get rid of anything.
Yeah.
And you may not have the space. You can't keep everything, and if it's difficult. Especially if it's just like, you know, every time I look at these things, I stop in my tracks. Like, I can't get rid of it because I can't stand the fact that the person that I loved is gone. You have to move on at some point. This is a problem that I've seen a lot of people go through, especially when a spouse dies or sometimes when their parents go, where they just, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but like, you shouldn't feel the need to have to keep everything just because it was owned by your parents. Like, at some point, you do have to move on, and they wouldn't want you to live in the past and to keep everything exactly like it was, like they never left. I would think, you know, most people wouldn't want that, but at the very least, don't take it at half price.
Yeah, I saw recently, or I think still there at mine. There's like a whole collection of first edition Hardy Boys,
Wow.
and they're like $5 each, and it's like, come on. But yeah, change the subject a little bit, but this is a good question.
Well, let me follow up on that real fast, just because I just thought of this, and just to say that everybody's going to be different. Just because you raise your kids to be interested in a thing doesn't mean that they're going to be, and sometimes they'll be rebellious and they'll not like the thing you like just because you like it. You know, I want to be my own person. I don't want to do what Dad does. So, like, where I am right now with my children, especially Jason, like, he likes a lot of the things I like. I'm sure he's had the thought in his head before, someday I'll get all this cool stuff. You know, that my dad has, but someday he might not be interested in it anymore, and that's kind of the nature of the beast. And you got to let your kids be their own people. But if my kids do continue to be into some of the things that I'm into, one of the reasons for collecting is to be able to pass cool stuff down to your kids. And if you have kids, and either for them to also enjoy, it's part of why I kept most of my childhood. My kids play with my toys as much as they play with their toys. And it's really cool to see that, you know, to watch your kids have fun with all the stuff that you had fun with when you were young. But you know, I'll pass this stuff down to them, and hopefully either they'll continue to enjoy it, or it will be some of it will be worth some money, and they'll be able to again go to college or buy a house or whatever.
Yeah.
With it.
So, yeah, I'm glad you brought up the action figures from your childhood thing, because that leads right into my question. Well done.
Awesome, sure. I'm gonna pretend like I did it on purpose.
Ronimus Prime 77 asks, have you guys ever collected any of the Marvel Legends figures before? Yes, I have. I have a bunch of them still.
Oh, do you really? Cool.
Yeah, you can go first if you want.
I have a couple.
Have you? Okay, well,
I have a couple.
There you go.
I never actively collected them. You're a little bit younger than I am. By the time that
That's
became
true.
a big thing, I was no longer buying figures much on a regular basis, and DJ, I'm like an old person now. I have a hard time dropping that much money on an action figure, to be brutally honest with you. Like when I was growing
what are
up,
they like these days?
like 20, 25, and
Oh,
yeah, and like when I was
when
a
I
kid,
bought them, they were like $7. That's
were
crazy.
they really? Was Legends
Yeah.
ever that cheap? Because I
Yeah.
remember Legends always being up there.
Well, I mean, I only got the first few lines. You can continue what you were saying, and I'll.
No, not at all. Go ahead.
Okay, so I started before Marvel Legends. They had a Spider-Man Classics line, which was awesome, and it kind of led into Marvel Legends. There are a lot of the same molds and similar figures and stuff. So the Spider-Man Classics line, the first one was Spider-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, Man Spider, I don't know, and Venom, and it was awesome. They were super detailed. I'd never seen anything like this because this was before Marvel Legends, and they came with the base, they came with the comics in the back, and then they made some awesome Spider-Man. They made Scarlet Spider, which I had, and 2099, who even had the cape. It was so cool. But anyway, after they finished that line, they made like a Rhino and a couple other villains. Then the first Marvel Legends line was the Avengers line, and it was just Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, and Captain America. And I got all four of those. Those were really awesome. And then, so back then, they weren't that bad. They were maybe like I said, $7 or $8, and I still have all those. Once they started getting into like the Build-A-Figures, and there was like 8 or 9 figures in every line, like that's kind of when I dropped off. But I just bought those to play with as a kid. I wasn't really a collector at that point. I mean, I collected all of them, I amassed them, but I just played with them like kids do with action figures. They were just really awesome action figures that I could pose in really cool ways. So yeah, I still have a ton of those. I should have got them out for this. I wasn't really expecting to do like show and tell. I thought we were just going to kind of talk about collecting in general, but I guess I should have got them out for this.
Well, for the most part, yeah, but I've been saying for a couple weeks there was stuff about recently I wanted to show you guys, so I figured this was the best show to do that on. So Dan is complaining in the comments that I'm still too quiet. Like, I've done everything I can. Like, DJ is turned down so far I can't believe you guys can still hear him. Mine's turned up so loud. I'm hearing myself in my headphones right now, and it's just like I'm hearing like background noise in my headphones. I have it turned up so loud. I don't know what's going on.
Is there any chance you have the sliders swapped and you're the one that you're turning down?
No, I definitely don't, because watch the sliders. Like the one that I have up high, you can tell I'm the one talking.
Oh yeah,
right
you're
now.
talking.
Like, look at that. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but it's been bad. David says DJ still at I'm reminded of.
I'm trying to talk so quiet.
I'm reminded of the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns has a baseball team, and he keeps telling that guy to shave his sideburns, and no matter what the guy shaves, he still tells him that he's got too long of sideburns. That's what I'm reminded of right now. We might have to get DJ a regular microphone at some point, because he's still using the mic in his earbuds, and I think that might be part of what's going on. But
jeez, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have like a super crazy amplified mic.
This was the problem the first few weeks, and I don't know why it suddenly is now. Even the first OBS show we did wasn't like this.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't understand. Like, again, the only thing I can do is to talk like this.
Thank you for tuning in to the Captain Logan Show.
Good evening and welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. Tis I, Captain Logan. I need to get like an arm. Like most YouTubers these days that shoot as much as often as I do, including Dance News, like have like an arm for the microphone, and it's just stuff like this. It's like, greetings, dudes and dudettes. Welcome back to the Captain Logan Show.
Dan says Cap ASMR. That would be amazing.
I don't know what that means.
ASMR? It's a huge thing on YouTube.
I don't know what it means.
It's very soft talking and noises that tickles people's I don't know. It gives people tingles and it helps them
Ooh, I
sleep.
could do that. No, I'd be great at that. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound like conceited, but I think I'd be great at that. See, the nice thing about having the microphone that close to your face, especially when it's as loud as I have this set right now, is that I can talk this quietly, and everybody can hear what I'm saying.
That's it. That's ASMR. You've nailed it.
It's time for smooth jazz on Geekvolution.
No, it's like a huge thing. There's like accidental ASMR videos with like, who's the painter guy?
Oh yeah, Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. He's all over. He's everywhere.
What I need right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a pop filter. Anyway, so what else you got?
Cap's gonna Google ASMR tonight, and then
I'm just gonna keep effing around with my microphone.
okay.
I see we've got another $5 super chat from Iron Shell. Let's find out what he has to say.
Here we go. I'm not gonna do that because I'm already too loud. I collect X-Men.
Well, yeah, and if you did it would just be you taking this microphone next to your face and going. It's like...
I'm not even gonna try. I don't know what it's gonna sound like.
You'll start whispering. It'll be an atom bomb. It's like whoosh.
Now just gonna paint some happy little trees. There are no accidents here, guys. Wait, no, there's no mistakes here. Just happy accidents. That's what it is. I like Bob Ross. Bob Ross is awesome. He's
As soon as you said that, I was thinking more like the traffic report. Like, there's a big accident on the 104. Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna try to read this question without Ron Shell.
This is what we call getting derailed.
So he just says, I collect X-Men ones. Okay, I think he's talking about Marvel Legends. Yeah, they definitely are getting expensive. There's a Cyclops and Jean Grey one that was only from Toys R Us, and that's like over $80. Good grief.
You see those box sets where we'll put like 6 figures in a box, and it's almost like we added $5 or $10 to each normal price of each figure when we sell it. It's like it'll be like $120 and.
Yeah, did they ever make a Galactus? Because I would think you would have to have that.
ASMR thing, a thing I've never heard of. Just everybody in the comments like, oh yes, of course, ASMR. I've never heard
It's huge,
of this.
man.
Really?
There's like teenage girls with like millions of subscribers, and all they do is just talk into a microphone.
All they do is just talk in a like a soothing voice into a microphone.
Yeah, they'll just like read stuff, or they'll just like tingle metal things that can make other sounds. It's hilarious. They'll just tingle on the mic.
It's like,
Dan says, "Welcome to YouTube, Cap."
wow. No, these things are still. Like, I still can't believe people watch people play video games, and that's been, that's people's childhoods at this point. And a thing I do, I still don't. I mean, I make that. I don't know why people watch it, but I do. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, anyway, no, Marvel Legends is a thing I don't have a whole lot of.
Yeah. All right, let's change the subject because we're getting weird.
I think I have a Deadpool, and I think I have a Doctor Doom. Yeah.
Here we go. This is a fun one, and should be kind of easy and short.
I want to say a big happy birthday to Matale. Happy birthday.
Yes, please give us the shout-outs that you want Cap to read in his ASMR voice.
Yeah. You know what? And what's really funny is it happens completely naturally. Like, I can't get that far into a microphone and talk normal. I just can't do it. Especially if I can hear myself in my headphones. Like, if I've got headphones connected, I can't help it. Like, immediately I just go there. You're welcome, Matale. Like, I can't help it.
All right, what do we got? Here we go.
Needs somebody sometimes. Everybody needs a little love. Anyway,
hey,
go ahead.
I don't know if there is ASMR singing. You could start that. I'm sure there probably is. Since you're a big Batman fan, this is from Anime 2019. Do you collect DVDs that you don't necessarily need, like the DVDs that only have 3 or 4 episodes?
I don't do that. No.
Oh, well,
No,
there we go.
I
Open
don't
the
feel
shut.
the need to have like every release of a thing where it's like, well, I have those episodes already over here, but this box has a different cover on it, and they put out a little compilation that's like just the Mr. Freeze episodes or just the Riddler episodes or whatever. I know about those, but yeah, I've never felt the need to have those. So nope, I
All
do
right.
not. T Edge wants to know if we saw his second chat. I don't know.
I was just about to read it. Yes, I have it here.
Yes, we did, T Edge. Yes, we did.
Thank you for the $5, T Edge. We have when you say everything tick, do you mean like this? All right, well, here we go. You can answer this one in the voice. When you say everything tick, do you mean the speed VHS, like the speed VHS guy? I'm home now. You rock. You are always fun to watch. Thanks for giving us an update on your commute.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you avoided
good to know you made it
on the
safely.
105.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but when I say the Tick, I mean the superhero, the Tick. The Tick is my favorite superhero next to Batman. Maybe they're neck and neck. Maybe they're right on par. I bought some Tick comics today. Let's show those off, shall we? Now that the Tick has come back up. Okay, so the Tick. Oh my god.
Oh, we lost Cap, guys. His microphone is gone.
It's okay.
Okay, so anyway, so the Tick is the one thing that I'm crazy obsessed about, where I have to have, again, every single thing, including different printing. So with comics, I don't usually feel the need to have. What are we laughing at right now?
I'm just laughing at everyone responding to you, like going, "Oh my god!" and then just cutting off.
Well, it all happened all at once. It's a natural reaction. Anyway, so this has been a show, yeah. So usually when I buy comics, I don't feel the need to have like every variant cover and every printing and that kind of thing. I do that with the Tick just because I'm so close to owning everything that ever came out, and there's little enough with the Tick I can kind of afford to do that. So I buy every printing of the original Ben Edlund run, and every Tick comic, honestly. But these especially I've started getting into. So I was at my comic shop today, and William just happened to have a big stack of these on his desk, and I wonder if he saw me coming because it was the only thing on the desk, and he knows that I collect Ticks, so I think he saw me coming. I really do. And yeah, Dan, it's thanks, buddy. It's your fault. He just wanted to go off the rails, and it did. So, DJ, this is the Tick number 2, and each printing of this, it wasn't that originally when they put this out, they did all these different covers, but each time this is reprinted, these flames are in different colors.
Oh no!
And I have to have all the different colors of the flames. So here it is in greens. Here it is in purples and green. Here it is in green, red, and blue. And I accidentally bought the greens again. So
That's the one thing you don't want to double dip on, and
you don't. And so I'm gonna have to either take this back or just sell it in my booth for what I paid for it. But anyway, so yeah, I got a bunch of the first run, the first 12. And most of these I have already in some form or another, but I had to get other printings. Even if they have exactly the same cover, that's how crazy I am with the Tick. But anyway, yeah, so when I'm talking about the Tick, I'm talking about this guy. That's the Tick. Yeah.
No, I know what he's talking about. He did clarify. He knows who the Tick is. He's asking if you want to be like the guy who's collecting every VHS copy of Speed.
Speed. No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel the need to have, I don't want to take it away from anyone else.
Well, that guy will actually trade them a DVD for the VHS. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's trying to get it's really funny that came up because I told William that story this morning, and he had never heard about that before, and he just lost it. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the World Speed Project.
I haven't seen Speed.
You never seen Speed? Speed's great.
I haven't seen a single movie that Keanu Reeves was in except for Toy Story 4, if you count that.
I read somewhere recently that the original premise of that film before it became Speed was almost the opposite, where you had to stay parked in a parking lot or the bus would explode.
Well, that seems easy. That seems like you could just sit back and
be a boring movie. I don't know if I'm right about that, but yeah.
It's just like Jerry's game, like he's just there playing chess by himself.
Is this gonna become what is that? The not literal trailers. What is it? Honest honest trailers. Is it gonna be like honest trailers where at the end of an honest trailer the guy has to read like a bunch of tweets in his announcer voice? Is it gonna be like that? Kellen O'Rourke in the comments says, "Cap say this is GNN."
This is GNN.
Keep sending them, guys. This is
Oh my god.
it's a one-of-a-kind show tonight. Quality entertainment we're giving you guys. But you made me think of something.
Yeah.
We should maybe talk about what is the dumbest, like double, triple, quadruple dipping you've ever done. Because I've done it with a lot of movies, and I have. Since you brought up the tick thing, I have Batman Begins. I wonder if I can get them all. I think I have it like 5 times on Blu-ray, just Blu-rays.
Oh, so you're even more anal retentive about this than I am. Do you have to have like every version that comes out?
I don't. I just really like. Here, I'm gonna grab them if you want to talk about it real quick, and I'll show you why.
I really don't want to say anything right now while he's doing this. Let's just enjoy watching DJ try to find them all because they're all color coded. He's still looking.
I'm just gonna show these 3.
And for what I said was it would like I don't want to say anything. I want to just watch DJ try to find them all in the color. What I should have done was color commentated.
in
And
the
he's
voice.
in the reds, folks. And there he is. He's moving over to the blues. Oh, he's there over to the yellow. No, there's none in the yellows. There's none in the yellows.
Okay, so Batman Begins is the very first movie I bought on Blu-ray, and it just kind of it was. I don't keep it in here because it's just like an old one that I have over there, but it looks like this, just as a different art cover. And so I had to rebuy it because I needed a slip cover for it, and it had a digital copy. So that's why I bought this one. And then I had to. This one was a steelbook, and I really love the art cover.
Oh, I don't have that.
Super cool. And then this is my favorite of all time, the Premium Collection Blu-ray digibooks. These are fantastic. I love these.
See, my collections. So, like yours looks cooler than mine because you buy Blu-rays. I buy Blu-rays when I can, but my collection is as much for work as it is to have. So I still have to have DVDs so that I can easily take screenshots because I can't do it from Blu-rays, and sometimes I don't get digital copies. If I have a digital copy, I can take a screenshot from digital copy. The way I have those is with this set.
Oh, nice.
And I think this is also a Blu-ray set. Maybe it's just DVDs. I don't remember.
Yeah,
hear me, DJ?
thanks. I can hear you. Someone mentioned it's a good thing that I wore pants today because
Yes,
last week I
saw
wasn't
that.
wearing pants.
And DJ has no pants. But yeah, this is one of those sets where all the discs are in a book, which is clunky. I never really care for this, but it is a pretty set. But DJ, does this irritate you when like? Just waiting for DJ to turn around here.
Sorry, I'm listening. I have headphones. I got you.
Well, no, I know, but I'm trying to show you something.
Okay, I'm
does
looking.
This irritate you when like it's in like a book, and it's kind of clunky to pull those out, like?
Yeah, they should do what they do in digibooks where they have the book, but then they still add the disc holes at the end, which much better. I mentioned this before, but the DC digibooks that they're doing are really great. They've never stopped doing them. They still do them from Man of Steel all the way up to, I think Shazam's going to get one. So I have all those. Another movie I have a ton of is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, because I really love the movie, but there's also really great versions of it.
Yeah, I need to step up my game with editions I buy. Again, I mostly just need to have things represented and be able to get at the DVDs.
Yeah, so I've double dipped, and I have a lot of Amazing Spider-Mans because that's my favorite superhero movie, and I have some rare versions of that. But yeah, I think just Blu-rays. I don't double buy a lot, but if it's a really cool version, I have to because I have problems.
That's cool. Well, usually I tend to trade up with DVDs, so I usually only rebuy a thing if I get like a really cool collector's edition like that, or if it's got new special features. If there's new special features, I have to get the new one, and if the new one has new special features but not all the special features from the last disc, that's about the only time I hang on to the old one. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. All right, DJ, do we have any more super chats?
We do not at the moment.
Okay, cool. Let's go back to pre-written, and we've got maybe a... And you know, we started the show early, so we actually are past an hour already, I think.
Yeah, we started at like 45. So yeah.
45 or 50, yeah. Well, you want to go ahead and do one more?
Yeah, I say that. Let me make sure I have one. We went through all the ones that were about collecting that I had. I just had a few that weren't about collecting. You guys have any last minute questions about collecting that you want us to talk about?
Yeah, you want to just feed me random things to say in the microphone? It's funny, too, because I could have done this like the whole time. Like, every show I've ever done, I could have done this. It's been the same microphone. You just hear me breathing. They got no questions, DJ. Mutale, Cap, would you collect biopic movies?
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to start just collecting every movie that is a biopic. Like, I've gotten on a biopic bandwagon, but I tend to only care about, movies about people that I'm already really interested in, or I get interested in people that I didn't know anything about because it's an actor I like a lot, and I went to it because of that. Those are really the only two reasons I go to biopics.
Yeah, that'd be a very like wide range of movies to collect.
Noah O wants me to say spoon. Spoon! Oh, sorry, I'll do it again. Spoon! Yeah.
Oh, here's a good question, Mutale. And I think you already have.
Spoon. Oh, sorry, go
ahead. Cap or DJ, would you start collecting weapons?
I actually have liquidated some of my weapons because I ran out of space. I don't have as much good wall space for weapons, but yeah, I have a couple swords. I have sais. I have a couple knives. Yeah, I've got some weapons. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only have the weapons I used to perform and compete with, but it's just like they're not like display weapons. They're just like beat up weapons that I used to use.
Yeah, I wasn't in martial arts or anything, so I've never like learned how to use them. They just look cool on a wall, and I'm a superhero guy, and so some of the iconography goes well with stuff that I have. I've got some batarangs. I've got some like steel batarangs and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was the bow staff guy on the demo team, and then I transitioned to sword later, but I still like bow staff the best. That's why I'm a Donatello fan. He's the best turtle. But he lost the poll. Someone did a poll on the SSSS, and Donatello lost the poll. I was pulling for him.
Now David says he can't hear me, like at all. Is he just messing with me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Look, I'm just going to keep it right here, okay? This is where it is. It's clipping the tops. I don't even care anymore.
You sound like the in-flight like pilot talking over there.
Please keep your arms and feet inside the cabin at all times.
There is a battering on the wall behind him. That's true, AMC Comics.
Yep, that's signed by Adam West.
Is it still visible? Is it wearing off at all? Because that would be horrible.
I have to admit, there's a little piece of it that's gone.
Oh, no.
Not because it's old.
It's by
because
Adam West.
When Jason was little, he got his hands on it at one point.
Oh, no.
And he wiped a little bit of it off. Yeah. I'll never forgive you, Jason.
He reminds him of it every morning when he wakes him up.
Why can't anyone hear me? Is this thing on?
If they can't hear that, I'm really confused because it's really loud in my ears.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's so weird. Are the levels just weird on the computer itself? Like, I don't know what's going on. Whatever. Anyway, I'll work on this for next time.
I'm just gonna hold it right here, just the whole time.
Yeah, but why am I so quiet? Like,
he's the one running the software. I don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Hold on. I'm gonna unplug this for a second. Oh, weird. It is louder now.
Oh, there we go.
What is that about? That's very strange. I don't know why that happened.
User error, guys. He did not have it plugged in.
Yeah, and hold on. It's doing it again. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta stop touching it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's something about like it's changing it when I pick it up. Anyway, I don't know what's going on.
That's the show, guys. See you later. Now that we've got it figured out.
Sorry to anyone that was wearing headphones.
Yeah.
Anyway, this might mean I need a new microphone. I've been using this for a long time. It may be time to change it, to straight up. So I'll look into doing that. Anyway, well, DJ, is there anything else that you see that we really need to chat about?
No, they're just talking about the microphone issues.
This has been off the rails, but I have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, I'm really glad I made it tonight.
Please make sure that your tray table is up and your seat is back in the full upright position. And have a great flight.
Thank you for flying Captain Logan.
Captain Logan Air.
Yeah, it's cutting in and out now. Okay, we need to end the show right now while we still can. Everybody, thanks as always for watching. Hope you had a good time at the Captain Logan Show. We'll be here again next Wednesday night, hopefully normal time Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central. I've got some family in town next week. That shouldn't affect anything, but if it does, I'll let you guys know. And Noah says this was an interesting episode. Interesting for a number of different reasons. Yes, indeed. But we made it happen, and I hope you guys had a good time. Spider-Man Far From Home review coming out on Thursday. Possibly a spoiler cast, possibly just how we felt about it. Have not decided yet. But if we don't do spoilers on that show, we will probably do some spoilers on the Captain Logan Show. And DJ, any brilliant final last thoughts?
No, not at all, man. I'm just excited to hear your thoughts on Far From Home. I got to see it this morning. It was playing at 11 o'clock in my theater. I did not expect that, so we got to catch it this morning.
No, Mutali Dan will not be able to make it. He's not going to be able to see it this weekend, and we wanted to go ahead and get a review out. So he may be able to come chat with us about it on some other video down the road, but not this time. Anyway, I'm going to come back and do some more Telltale Batman gameplay in the next couple of days. Probably not tonight, because I've done it the last 2 nights, and I have other things I got to get knocked out. So, probably not with this microphone. So anyway, thanks a lot for listening and watching, and we will see you again next time. I'm Captain Logan. This was DJ Martinez.
See you later, guys.
See you later, folks.
Bye for now.